What's up, y'all? Jeffery and Jeffery TV. Sitting in the car. Can you see the laptop over here? So I'm in traffic, and it's taking me longer than it should. So basically, I can't just do 80, 90 miles an hour home. So I'm kind of sitting in traffic. Yeah, y'all see the car seat. That car seat been in there for 6, 7 months, untouched. I meant to drop it off at my mother's house, but I keep forgetting. And in a few months, I'm going to use it again, but that's no excuse for it to still be back there. Y'all see my bag of chicken. I don't know if I'm liking this camera angle. I got it under the visor. I got the 120-degree wide camera angle. It's probably a nice shot. I probably don't even get, as long as I'm looking straight, it's probably a nice shot. And I am looking straight to see, what's happening outside the car. And can you hear the music? If I leave it like that, if I talk like this, is that what I'm talking about? Told y'all I don't listen to P-Funk. This is what I listen to. And the other day, I listened to Motor Booty Affair album, and it was like the first time in maybe a couple years that I casually listen to P-Funk in the car, deliberately. That's why when I go out in public and I hear it play, I go ape shit. So I listen to Motor Booty Affair in the car, Spotify, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Listen to the mix of it. The sounds, the syncopation. You got stuff coming from here, coming from over there, all these kind of sounds, and just the vocals and the layered vocals and the choruses on top of choruses, and just the lyrics. It was just immaculate. It's just, there's nothing. There is nothing. There's Parliament, and then there's everything else. And that includes Funkadelic. There's Parliament, those albums from Mothership Connection to Tribulation, and even though I kind of realized that Up for the Downstroke, which is one of my favorite songs played live, I think Presence of a Brain is on that record too. I'm not sure. I need to revisit that record. Just to listen to it, because I posted on Facebook about my feelings for Parliament, and one of the things that I cited in that was the technology. The technology plays a lot. The quality and the production of the sound that occurred in the 70s is major to me. Major to me. All that Funkadelic stuff that came before that was recorded in the I don't want to say not best produced or whatever, in that different standard of recording style or bandwidth or depth or whatever you want to call it, until that Mothership Connection came in with that synthesizer sound and that bass they were able to achieve and that sound that they were able to achieve, and of course to a mass audience, to lots of people. Now you don't have to be rich. You didn't have to be rich to be able to listen to some quality music in your car with the 8-track. That Mothership, that plays a big part. That plays a big part of how beautiful it is. And I'm listening to Spotify, and all you people who may be against the music streaming companies, it's going to be hard to beat Spotify. It's going to be hard to beat Spotify because, number one, I'm paying $12 a month. If that, I think I'm paying $15, $16, I don't know how much I'm paying a month. I'm paying that a month, and I get damn near every song that's ever produced. And not only that, I'm getting new records. Boosie's new record is on there. New records coming in, you can listen to them. You don't got to carry around CDs or nothing. It's right there all the time. You can download them, have them in the app, so you don't have to worry about connectivity. But after Motor Booty Affair was over, the next song they played was Super Groovalistic Process Funkification. And then after that, they played Schoolboy Crush. Schoolboy Crush is maybe my second all-time favorite song. Knee Deep is my number one favorite song. And even though Knee Deep is funkadelic and not Parliament, even though I claim that One Nation is Parliament, they just had to throw it on a funkadelic record, I can't quite say Knee Deep is Parliament. Because in my idea, funkadelic ain't got no hits. Funkadelic ain't 4 hits. Funkadelic ain't even funk. Funkadelic is gut bucket rock, whatever that call that music. Whatever that is. And I'm not putting it down, I'm just saying it's not the idea of what I think of as funk. It started with Mothership Connection. And not only because of the sound of the music, but because they called it the funk. We want the funk. Funk became a noun. It wasn't funky, it wasn't funkin'. I don't even think funkin' was up there yet. Funk became a noun. We want the funk. That changed everything. Philosophically, music-wise, I don't care what went into it. I don't care who developed the one. I don't care who did this. But I will say this, though. The more I watch and the more I listen to these documentaries, and that We Want the Funk documentary was the best. That We Want the Funk documentary that just came out was the best documentary like this I've ever seen in my life. I had tears coming out of my eyes. It was just beautiful. It was just so simply beautiful. Pain never makes me cry, but happiness does. And God damn it, I mean, it was just so beautiful. It was just so beautiful the way they laid it out and how they went through all the music that I went through. And I'm talking about Benny and the Jets, I was there. Fame, I was there. The Talking Heads, that was my record, dude, 85, 86, 87 when P-Funk disappeared. That Speaking in Tongues was... In fact, on my baby bucket list would be to see the Talking Heads. That's probably the only group that I really didn't get to see live. I saw Sade, I saw blah, 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 Clinton, blah. But that's probably the only one I didn't get to see live that I probably really wanted to. Anyway, that documentary was very good, touching. And through that documentary, I'm starting to see, and that documentary and things like that, I'm starting to see more and more aspects of funk that went into P-Funk. It wasn't just the one. It was like, one of the things was sweating. The fact that James Brown was on stage performing and just sweating and just going at it like that. They kind of pointed out to me that was new. People didn't do that. Not on TV, not at live, he was just going for it, sweat everywhere. And there's certain phrases he was saying, certain styles he was saying. And one of the ones, another one got me, was they showed Sly Stone, a live concert of Sly Stone, and he was pulling people up on stage. And that looked just like Mr. Clinton. To me, that was Mr. Clinton. That's George doing that. And I look back, I said, wow, Sly Stone did it maybe before all that. So the little pieces of it that went into funk that I may or may not be aware of. But still, having said that, and acknowledging that my mind is open to information, I still think funk started with Mothership Connection. The funk, as we know it, if you walk up to somebody and say funk, what they gonna think of is that 70s stuff that came out of that era. And of that era, Ohio dominated, not DC, not New Orleans. And I'll say this to DJ Soul Sister, because I love you, and I love the way you do things, I love the way you handle things. Miss New Orleans, it's no doubt. Every time people play New Orleans, I'm there. New Orleans, and she made a statement that New Orleans was the capital of funk because when she thinks of funk, she wants this, and that, and that. True. As a city, New Orleans is probably unmatched. Hell, unmatched in food, jazz, people, all of that, unmatched. But that may not make it the capital of funk. You can't, to me, New Orleans, like I said, people don't play New Orleans, I'm there. I'm just there. I'm not gonna miss that. The experience of the city, the people, the food, all of that. We're not comparison that. that don't make it the funk capital. What make it the funk capital is all that vibe, how it was created, how we did it in Ohio, how they did it in those basements, how those industrial steel workers had enough disposable income to set up basements and the music in schools and all that. That developed funk, and that sound that came out of that era, that's the funk capital. Now you can't compare no city in Ohio. Hell, you can take all the cities in Ohio, wrap them up. You can't compare it to New Orleans. I give you that, but that don't make New Orleans the funk capital of the world. And Mr. Tromboyo Yo, Mr. Tromboyo Yo, go-go is not funk. Okay, go-go is not funk. No, go-go is go-go, funk is funk, rock is rock, country is country. Everything can't be funk. Now, I'm not saying I love go-go. In fact, every time I go back to DC, I'm hoping to see a go-go band. But they never have it scheduled about that time. I want to go do a go-go. Because I grew up, I came up with the DC dudes, Southeast and Northwest, when Trouble Funk was out in the 80s. You know, they turned me on to that whole. In fact, I even went and saw Trouble Funk on Wisconsin Avenue. The only thing I remember was Wisconsin Avenue live. I saw them live. I went down to DC, visited them. They took me. We went to a show. And, you know, and one thing about them DC Negroes that I learned, and they taught me, you can dance by yourself. You know, you just get up and dance. You don't need nobody else to dance with. You just dance by yourself. And that was a kind of a novel idea to me. First of all, dudes dancing with dudes was, whoa, what is that? You know, just groups of men or boys just dancing with no girls around. That was just kind of, you know, at first. And then from that, I took hell. I just danced by myself. I don't need nobody. But I had already been doing that before I met them. When I would go to the Ohio State dances at the Drake Union and Ohio Union, and they'd be playing music, I'd be dancing by myself, you know. And I probably was, because probably I wasn't in the girls. I mean, I was in the girls, I just didn't know how to do them. I just didn't know how to talk to them, didn't even want to. It was probably more about me, let's just face it. Even back then, it was probably more about me and less about getting this or getting that. And it was fun to look at and, you know, and imagine, and then, you know, every now and then, you know, you both forget one or one come up to you talking every now and then, but mostly it was about me and just dancing. And I didn't need to dance with anybody. So when I met them DC dudes and they just dancing on top of tables and just doing their go-go thing all over the place and banging on pots of bands or whatever, I was like, whoa, okay. And that was kind of during the time where P-Funk was kind of, I think Atomic Dog came out and that was just about it. You know, we did that and there was some other stuff, rap was into it and, chill. You know. So I love go-go, but go-go ain't funk. No. Funk is funk. Funk is funk. And when Mr. Boyer said the up or the downstroke was go-go, I stopped and I listened. I stopped, and it would explain why I love it so much, but I'm not sure. I have to revisit. Maybe the live version of Up for the Downstroke, which is probably one of my all-time favorite live P-Funk songs right now. Especially when they play Up for the Downstroke and they go into Unfunky UFO. But anyway, I'm open to stuff. But still, Mothership Connection started off the funk. We want the funk. We don't want two funk. We want the funk. Anyhow, I digress. I think I made my point. I think I've come to my conclusion. I'm not sure. I think I've come to my conclusion. I hope this is recording. I see I got the laptop sitting right here. I'm driving. I'm setting things up. I got cameras and wires going places. And I said, let me do this. And not just set the phone up. Because that is the one, if you set the phone up, you got to prop it up. And I don't have right mounts and all that. And I felt like, you know, saying something. So we'll see how this came out. And hope the background music don't get the video taken off Facebook, where I guess I'm going to have to say I do not own the rights. Does that actually work? I've seen people do that. I wonder if that actually works. People do it. I think that's silly. Just like some of the stuff, I do probably think it's silly. But just like some of the people be like, you know, I post this, Facebook, you can't sell this, or Facebook, you can't do that. I declare blah, 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 blah. You know, oh, I saw this on so-and-so on CNN. They say you got to post this so they don't sell your information and blah, 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 blah. I don't know if all that's true. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see if they take it down. for the background music. But some of the stuff is probably so obscure that it might not even be recognized. Let me get out of these people's way, because you ain't going nowhere. People running up on the back of me. I don't know if you can see that, but I can't stand people running on the back of me. Go ahead. She on her phone anyway. She all down in her on her phone, running up on the back of folks. I can't complain, because I was setting up computers and wiring microphones and setting up cameras, driving. But it was traffic, so we really wasn't doing nothing, you know. Anyway, I think I made my point. I'm not sure. I just wanted to see. It really is a test. But notice I didn't say it was a test. Notice I didn't say it was a test. It is a test. I just wanted to see how it sounds, kind of, you know, thing again. Because first I wanted to see how the microphone on this camera was going to pick up everything. But I saw that it had a lot of noise. And I'm like, I ain't even talking, and it's got that much noise. So I said, let me get out the wireless. I had to get out the adapter. This is the same wireless setup that I use when I'm walking. I have another setup that I spend a little bit more money at home that I use at my home setup and get a better quality sound and blah, 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 blah. This is the one that I usually use when I'm walking. So, and you see I hooked the lavalier up. I didn't even run it under my shirt. I ran it under the seatbelt because I don't like it flapping around for whatever reason. I had a traumatic experience of the cable bouncing around when I was walking and causing noise on the mic, so that's kind of stuck in my head. But anyway, no more delay. Just check out the new style that I display. P-Funk, Parliament. I listened to that. I was saying, yeah, Spotify. You ain't going to be Spotify. Not only did I get every song in the world, the algorithms work. They play Super Groove, and I haven't heard this music in the car, and I got a decent system in this car. So I'm hearing some of these records I ain't heard in decades on a quality system. You know, and then it brings out different things. I got speakers all over the place, so I'm hearing stuff from over here, stuff over there, and they play Super Groove Falsification, and then they play Schoolboy Crush. I was like, I almost started crying. I almost teared up. And then they played some other stuff like some Andrill, Skip, Larry Graham, Skip, Graham Central Station, Skip, Brick, Skip. And then they played some more Average White Band. They played I'm the One. That was the jam, but still Skip. And they played Parliament. They ended up playing Funky UFO was in that rotation. Cosmic Slop from the Funkadelic record was in that rotation. Yeah, I figured Do That Stuff was in that rotation. This is stuff that Spotify picked. Not me. This is stuff that Spotify picked. And those algorithms and that I'm saying it's gonna be hard to beat. That's gonna be hard to beat. That is gonna be very, very hard to beat. How the algorithms work and how they can pick songs for you, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. And remember, I haven't listened to funk on Spotify, so it wasn't trained. I hadn't listened to funk on Spotify like that, so it really wasn't trained. It was guessing. Maybe from stuff that I picked before for years ago, but it has literally been a couple of years since I listened to some people in the car riding like this. I throw on my Sirius XM chill, and I'm gone. And that's why, and probably one of the reasons why I pay for it every year. Where every year I got to call them and talk them down from that crazy price they want to charge me and say, I'm done, I'm canceling. Well, but now you do it. They got to the point you cancel online. They say, okay, will you stay for the special introductory price? And it's a lot lower, and it's closer to that $70 or whatever that I'm used to paying a year. And then they promised that you can get an NFL on there, but I never got the NFL games on there. I don't know what that's about at all. People run up on the back of me. I just get out of the way, let them go. I don't get it. And why are you gonna run up on the back of me? You see what's in front of us. Can you see the cars? Can you see the cars in front of us? What's the point? Or then I'm riding here and I see the cars right now up front. Car like right on the back of another car. What's the point? I mean, why are you so close to that car? Now here you come. speeding up. Where you going? Ain't nowhere to go, y'all. Where y'all going? Jockeying for position, and ain't no position to jockey for. I just let them go. I got time. That's why I leave like 4 hours before I need to be anywhere. Just go ahead. I'll pull over, obnoxiously so. Pull over like, you go ahead, let them go, and get right behind them just to let them know that's why I did that. And then they get right in front of, and they end up going 4 feet from the car in front of them because they ain't nowhere to go. Anyway, just wanted to throw that out there. Spotify, SiriusXM. I don't even listen to Groove. In fact, let me see if I can find Groove. I'm gonna put on Groove. See if I can put on Groove. Let's see, I'm using Android Auto, so Groove might not come up. I'm using Android Auto, and I can't navigate my favorite things showing. I'm gonna put on Groove. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna put on Groove. I'm gonna try to put on Groove and see if I get let me see. Nope. Just to see what's on Groove. Groove is when I used to listen to Groove used to get me. Groove used to get me, and I can't even like navigate on the app. When you use the app, you can't really even like scroll or anything. I can't like tune. Probably can do it on the phone, but anyhow, and Groove would probably be jamming. They probably be playing Flashlight or something. I'll put it on it. Let me see if I can do it. Let me see if I can do it. For y'all, see, I do anything for y'all. That's not true. That's not true at all. I don't do anything for anybody. Speaking of which, that's a whole other conversation we're gonna have about caregiving and responsibility and duty. All right, that's a whole other thing. Let's see if I can find it. I'm gonna search. I'm gonna search. Go up here. The Groove. Found it. See what we got. Now I just hit chill instrumental. This is chill instrumental. I'll go with this. See, I like ambient music. I like the beat, the groove, the sound, the quality of the music, but I want it in the background. I don't want it distracting. Funk distracts me. Funk, this when I play that Parliament, that whole vocals goes there. But I will also say this too. I will also say this. Since I haven't been listening to that music, it may actually even affect my mood or my mojo. Because listening to that funk get me going, it gets me excited, and and I'm listening to like podcasts and news, and when I'm walking, I don't listen to nothing. I just like listen to the thoughts in my head. And when I do try to listen to something, every now and then, I'm like, ooh, cut that off. This distracting me. I just want to listen. I'm walking for like an hour and a half every day, just listening to the stuff in my head, just hearing what I want to hear, not what I want to hear, but hearing me talk to me. And that I thought about that today when I was walking. I said I should put on some music. One time I did put on some music. I got this what I call brain food electronic. It's kind of like it's definitely EDM, kind of upbeat EDM, mostly instrumental. And, I would listen to that because it was like good, I don't know what it was, exercise music. I listened to it when me and Granddaughter go in the basement. It was like ding, 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 but it ain't all, weird disco-y. And, but I don't, what was I saying? I'm driving and doing other things. Y'all want to see? Let me see if I can show y'all. Can y'all see? Can y'all see? Let me see what y'all see. Let me see what y'all see. Oh, how about right there? Can y'all see something? Oh, better like this. The wide angle don't do so good on this kind of shot. Now I'm gonna put it back up on the thing. Alright. Put it back up here. Think I can get it that way? Think I can get it right? I had it. What happened? It ain't gonna stay the way it was. What happened? I messed it up. Oh, there it goes. Is that it? Is that it? Oh, that's staying. And then I take the cord and wrap it around the rear view mirror. Alright. I think I did enough. Whatever enough means. Cars driving, I gotta pay attention. They're starting to drive. I'm in the valley now. They're starting to be a little bit more serious. Be a little bit more deliberate. And I don't blame them trying to get off the traffic before, trying to get off the freeway before, traffic, 5 o'clock. Even on Saturdays, 5 o'clock. Even on Saturdays and whatever days, you got a 5 o'clock rush hour. Even on a Saturday, man. Imagine that. Anyway. And then Funk coming up. First show of the tour in Oakland. And I swore I wasn't going to go to Santa Cruz again, but ain't no way in hell I could be up in Oakland and we got to come south anyway and be like driving right by Santa Cruz to get home. So I got to go to that show too. And it's a Saturday, I'm off. So I'm like forced to go. I'm going to go with an open mind. Because I have to say I had a problem with the hippie dancing up there and that kind of culture and that thing, and it's cool, they can, it's just not for me, and I'll just separate myself from it. But we're gonna go up in there and we'll see. Love the place. I mean, love the vibe. I guess the beautiful. Oh my God, the drive there is beautiful. It's kind of hard. I don't want to say monotonous, but it's a difficult drive because it's like all windy. Ain't no highway going up in there. I think you got to take 17, I believe. And it's windy and trees, and it's beautiful. But if you're trying to get somewhere, so I'm gonna go with it. Then come home Sunday. And then I was going to come on Sunday and rest to go to work Monday, but I don't even got to go to work Monday. In fact, this is day number 9, I believe. I think today's the 12th, and my first day of disability was the 3rd, so this is day number 9. A lot of these days I've spent out there with my mother, which I said it's going to be a whole different podcast about how, what I go through and what I'm dealing with, what I'm personally dealing with that, with my personality being in that position. What she's going through and just caregiving in general. But I will say this, I thought it was me, and I believe it's me, to a degree, because I feel like I can do anything I want. But this is something that's really difficult. Me and my mother had a conversation, and basically it came out that it's hard for me to act like I like this when I don't. She said, you act like you don't like this or something. I said, I don't. So I don't want to do this. This is not fun. I'm not going to act like that I do. And then I basically broke it down. We were talking, it came down to, I said, I'm probably not going to stop making my comments because I don't like this. It's probably impossible for me to hide the fact that I really don't want to do this. And I said, it's going to be impossible. She said, it offends me. I said, well, you shouldn't get offended. You get offended when I stop coming. You get offended when I start saying no and not coming back. That's when you should get offended. Because I thought I wouldn't do this for nobody else. I said, you're the only person in the world I would probably do this for. And if I had the choice, I would not do it. I'm just not a person to be of service to somebody. I mean, I'm not used to waking up doing something for somebody else. And I'm not ashamed of that. Waking up, and that's your mother. I don't give a damn who it is. I'm not that person. I wasn't raised to be that person. I didn't evolve to be that person. And I don't ask anybody to do that for me. I haven't asked anybody to do that for me. I don't see myself asking. I don't expect to get that kind of consideration from anybody. I'm just like, just give it up. I mean, But like I said, that's a whole different podcast for another time. But, you know, me and her had the conversation. I'm glad we had a conversation. Because if you're going to go through this, you're going to go through this with Jeffrey Scott Mitchell, it ain't going to be like everyone else. It damn sure ain't going to be like your TV Waltons. No. This is going to be real. My integrity is too strong and too embedded in me for me to not be real. And it's excruciatingly painful for me not to be myself. I would rather, I've learned to withdraw myself from everybody and everything. Go into my seclusion, go into the sanctuary space that I built for myself, where I can be and just be me. It's hard to compromise. It's very hard. It's just hard to compromise. I said, I'm gonna do this stuff for you, but I don't like it. And I'm probably gonna keep saying the stuff I'm gonna do. And she like, okay, it hurts my feelings. Well, she didn't say it hurts my feelings. She said, how do you make me feel? I was like, how does it make me feel for me in here doing this, not one that, you know? She was like, how do you think it makes you feel? I said, well, how do you think I feel? I don't want to do this. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see you like this. You know, I think we come to a happy medium because she still ain't stopped asking me for things. As soon as I wake up at 8 o'clock this morning, yeah. Can you put eye drops in my eyes? Can you do my teeth? Can you do this? Can you do this? I'm not even awake yet, lady. That's your mother. You should get up early and have it ready for her. Yeah, I should. I'm just saying. And then today, see, I'm paying for stuff now. Money's coming out of my pocket. Almost $1,000 a month coming out of my pocket to help her out, for her caregiving stuff now. So it ain't like I ain't walking away. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. This is gonna take a lot more. And I'm like to the point where clean out my 401k so I ain't got to do nothing. I don't care. Take all my retirement, as long as I ain't got to do nothing. I don't care. That's how I feel about the situation. But anyway, and I'm kind of joking, but I ain't. And so what was I gonna say? And so a new caregiver came in today. So got her this, took care of her, did this, cleaned down, blah 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 blah, did all this stuff. And then she was good and ready and just went to sleep, and she was asleep. So by the time I got dressed and ready to leave, she was asleep. I had to wake her up. So I said, Mom, wake up. Yeah, can you get me some, before she was even awake, like my 3-year-old daughter did, like my 4, 5, 6-year-old daughter did 30 years ago, before she was in awake. What are we gonna do today? I mean, before she was awake, can you get me some chicken? Is there some more chicken in there? I'm like, you ain't been awake yet, lady. Then I got her some chicken and she asked me to do something else. Can you put on Jesse Stone? I'm like, you ain't even awake yet, and you asking me to do stuff. I'm like, you ain't even awake yet, lady. And I done did 2 things. I don't even think she fully even waked up anyway. She probably didn't even fully wake up at all. And I done did 2 things. And it's no big deal. Get her a piece of chicken, do this, do that. It's no big deal. But it's Jeffrey. I'm just not used to it, and I just don't like it. But I'll get through it. I'll definitely get through it. And remember, I'm supposed to be healing. And most of the days that on my disability, I'm supposed to be healing, I've been out there going through this. So I got 4 days right now, the way it's set up. I got 4 days and this will be the longest stretch that I have to myself since I've been on disability. It's been 9 days since I've been on, and probably more than half of them have spent out there with her. So y'all understand my plight. I got a plight too. I'm just saying, I got a plight too. Anyway, I ain't gonna swing on y'all. I ain't gonna swing on y'all. Is this a me talking or is this a me babbling? This is more like a me babbling, if you ask me. In fact, look at this. I don't know if y'all can see this. But here's where I be walking. Every day I walk right there, right through there, every single day. Just about every day. That's my default route. That's the default route. So it's like when I'm driving, and back in Youngstown, when we go for a ride or driving, I'm like, we driving by all the places where I walk, and it feels kind of weird that I'm looking around and saying, wow, I walk this place, this is where I walk. I'm like, I walk. It's like I walk too much. I'm a weirdo. But I like it. Walking with talking to my selfie stick on my mic, doing what I do. Anyway, it looks like I probably need to Look like I'm getting a little bit of a delay. I mean, a little bit of performance issue because I'm on the battery. I could have plugged the laptop in. I got a AC power in it. Anyhow, I'm gonna swing on y'all. Even though this is a me babbling, I'm gonna swing on y'all 2 times. Can I do that? I'm gonna swing on y'all 2 times. So I'm swinging on y'all 2 times. For me, for the funk. And for every elementary particle that has ever existed in any atom in this or any universe that ever was, is, or will be. The totality of it all. Theory of universe. Hypothesis of all is one. And yes, I'm pulling into the gas station to get Black and Miles. I am I don't know what can I say. I want to say something derogatory about myself because I'm having Black and Miles. I want to say something derogatory about myself because I'm having Black and Miles. I'm just trying to think of something derogatory to say. A nice derogatory thing. Not ashamed. I'm kind of ashamed, sort of. Anyhow, my name is Jeffrey.